seppuku, the ancient Japanese ritual of disembowelment.
Okay, here we go. I'm pretty sure I just harvested my stuff.
Greetings everyone, and as they say in the Icarus world, welcome prospectors. Just the other day, Dean Hall and Loriipops did another dev stream, as they refer to it, I guess. A casual stream where they just play the Icarus, the latest version of it, and they let everyone have a look and they talk through and answer questions as they Twitch stream it. I'll put the links below to their Twitch account and YouTube account and everything else. Please check them out. Are a fantastic bunch of people and real friendly and actually genuinely interested in what the community has to say. And if you jump into their Discord, if you happen to watch this and you're not part of their Discord, the devs are in there talking all the time. You get the opportunity to talk to them. It's fantastic. You don't often see that in games, so full credit to them. The dev stream itself ran for roughly an hour or so, give or take. As per all of these things, it's just the gameplay, but there were some real key moments for me, and I'm going to summarize them really quickly for you. This is the stuff that I picked up on, some of the stuff they said, some of the stuff I saw, and just some general commentary. I am going to make this really quick. It's going to be rapid fire, so be prepared for this. It's not in depth, it's just a quick overview. If you want the full thing, go watch this stream for yourself. And if you happen to be insane enough to like the stuff I do, hulk out on that subscription button and the like button. Greatly appreciated. Let's get on with it. Now let me make it clear that the stuff that I'm going to comment on is just in whatever order they spoke about it or that I saw it on the screen. Having said that, let's start off with the drop pod. This is the first time that I can recall getting a really good look at the inside of the drop pod. It looks really good. Also, the performance of the game that I was seeing being played looks significantly better than the previous versions that I've watched. And on the back of that, Dean talked a lot about the optimization that they've been putting into the game, how they're making some big progress there, and there is a lot more to be done. It's definitely looking better from what I can see on screen, keeping in mind that what you're seeing here in front of you on my screen is a video of their stream, so it's not the best of quality, but it's all I've got to work with. This was the first time that I've seen them build a thatch hut. Now that might be a small thing, because mostly they're building in wood and a bit of stone from time to time. This was the first time that I've seen a thatch hut, and just for a moment we managed to see the outside of the thatch hut, and this was the first time that I've seen in a game leaves moving on the outside of a hut. It's a small thing, but I love that sort of detail. That's some good attention there. One of the interesting things talked about was there is no Steam Workshop capability at this stage for the game. Dean talked a bit about how the game has been developed, and they really just can't support mods at the moment. It's just not built into the game. One little comment that Dean made, which was very easy to miss, was he mentioned maybe you could mod the game in single player. Strangely enough, I can't recall them talking about single player before, so I would be interested to see what that dynamic looks like. The golden question was asked, of course, when can we play the game? And that date has been released, and that is fall. That is a good American term, fall of this year. So much later in the year and possibly through to early next year. They also have a whole bunch of automation type processes within the game that they're working on. This is to make as Dean talks about, the quality of the life of the player a little bit better. It's not going to be meticulously clicking this, clicking that. There is going to be some automation of some of the things that you do within the game. He didn't go into details, but they're clearly thinking about quality of life of the player in the game. I also thought that the AI of the deer was looking a little bit better. Laurie mentioned that the deer were a bit harder to catch. but through the game itself we saw that there was still some work to be done there, but the AI is starting to look a bit better. As they played, Laurie went into crouch mode and asked Dean, does stealth work? And Dean explained that it does work. Still a little bit of a work in progress, but as you crouch you will get stealthier in the game. And it was also good to see the jackets, the fur coats, the equipment that they were wearing. In the previous games they may have worn a fur jacket before, the characters, but I haven't really noticed it, but this time they were focused on that as they were looking to head up into the Arctic biome, and the fur jackets and stuff, they look pretty good. Now if you've watched enough of this stuff, and I've watched it all, you will know that they're very open, that it's still buggy, they're still working through things, and they sort of roll with the blows and are quite open with the public about that. And when Dean was flying around in the Thatch hut, yeah, that was quite a comical moment. I'm sure they'll fix it, but it's good to see them laughing at themselves. I always enjoy seeing that. Now we've seen lots of storms. The weather on Icarus is pretty violent. We've seen lots of storms before, but this one I felt that we actually got a real feeling for the storms because the characters were outdoors. And you could see the storm really building up around them. And I'll let this play for a few seconds just so you can see what it's like. The resolution isn't as good as I'd like it to be, but you can get a real taste for what it's going to be like. And Dean mentioned that exposure to the storm does do damage, and it obviously drains your stamina as well. I'll just let this run for a minute.
I'm right behind you. Super Dean, yeah. You were swimming around, destroying everything like a superhero.
Hadouken.
Yeah.
So we've only got a very small amount of time exposure-wise to survive. But luckily, I know there's a cave here. Hopefully
I'm so
it's
glad
open.
you saw it. Oh, watch out, there's another one. Jeez. Whoa! Oh, this is a bad storm.
It is a bad storm.
Holy crud. Alright, I've lost you, but... Oh no, I see you.
Head north.
And we have seen the caves before, but they spent a bit of time in the caves. There were some lighting issues within them. That's all good stuff they need to figure out. But they look quite nice. They look realistic, I guess would be a good way to put it. I would like them to also be aware that having played a lot of Ark, and where you often build in caves always need to also have a design element to them so that you can build them, and they always need flat surfaces in them. That tends to make it a bit easier, but they look really good, the caves. I like them. They have a real feel of dampness and shelter from the storms outside. They could be quite a key factor in the game, and it was good to see a bit more of them. Oh, and if you didn't note, you can actually pick up all the stuff that you put down. So you can place all your stuff down into your original hut, and this was a thatch hut, I should say, and you can pick it all up and carry it with you. And that's quite an important dynamic in this game, because I suspect you'll be moving from base to base as you build and move towards the more tricky biomes. And in this game we saw several bear attacks, I think it was. The bears obviously do some pretty big damage, but they maybe, in my opinion, need a few more hit points. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see them a little bit tougher. I don't know if that's me, just the way I like games to be, but yeah, they look pretty good. Now, when Dean did get up into the Arctic biome, it was good to see. That was the first decent look we've had at that, and I would certainly like to see that explored more in the streams, because I feel like we've really seen that forest biome quite a few times. So them pushing forward into the Arctic biome would be great to see. It's clearly very hard to survive in the Arctic biome unless you've made furs. There is exposure indicators. The more you're exposed to the elements in these cold areas, then you will eventually start to take damage. And if you didn't know already, the weather is localized in Icarus, so you can have a really bad storm in the Arctic area, and you might have another friend down in the forest area, and they will hear and see the storm in the distance, but they will not be suffering the effects themselves. And we also got to see some rather cool things up in the Arctic biome. We got our first look at polar bears. We got a look at a polar bear in the distance and then one up close, and we got to see some, I guess they were Arctic foxes or Arctic wolves. It was a bit hard to tell. And lastly, we got to see a storm up in the Arctic biome. That was good to see. Very harsh on the player, really sapped their energy, their stamina, and also they were exposed, and eventually Dean started to take damage up in the Arctic biome when a storm was coming in. And he even indicated that even though he was taking some damage, he did survive it, he wanted it to be harder than it currently was.
I might use that opportunity to... Oh, another wolf's gone in. I'm going to use that opportunity to try and make it past. Oh god, there's a wolf right there. No, he's going in for the kill. Don't mind me, folks.
What?
Carry on. Storm should be over soon. I think I'm going to survive it. Yep,
that's right.
I survived the storm.
Woo! Congrats!
Yeah, so I was going to keep this very short, and that is probably going to do it. Those were the key bits that I picked up on. The gameplay of Icarus is looking good. It's definitely coming along. There's clearly some more work to be done, but they got plenty of time to figure these things out. Icarus is coming out in fall of this year. We haven't got a price point for it yet. I have some other videos on Icarus, some summations of some of the gameplay. Don't forget to check out their website, their Steam, and to wishlist it, and their Reddit and their Discord and all that other bits and pieces. It's all there, and you can really get your fill of what this game's going to be like. Thanks for watching, much appreciated, and I'll see you in the next chapter.